Hello, Fleet Ready fam. Welcome to Fleet Ready Gaming. My name is Savad. Welcome to the channel. So with the lack of Inside Star Citizen happening this week, I thought we would do another lore video to kind of just fill in the gap and have something interesting to talk about. So today we're going to be going over the Siege of Tiber. Let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, so like with our last video, we've got some ambience music that we're going to go ahead and put on to set the mood for the lore, and let's just go ahead and jump right into it. But before we do, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out, and let's go ahead and get into it. Siege of Tiber. The Siege of Tiber was a key battle between the UEE and the invading Vandul. Lasting from 2732 and 2736, it consisted of extensive ground and air engagements, massive bombings, and a military blockade from the Orion and Vector jump points by Vandal forces and the Virgil and Oberon jump points by the UEE forces. Losses were heavy on both sides. Conservative estimates put human and Vandal combined casualties in the lower millions. The siege ended with the UEE defeat on the 29th of December 2736, when a king ship jumped into the system from Orion. Half of the UEE's forces in Tiber were destroyed in the subsequent battle. After such heavy losses, the UEE was forced to cede Tiber to the Vandul. Background. On the 18th of February 2712, Tiber's neighboring system, Orion, was unexpectedly lost to the Vandul. UEE forces that had defended Orion fell back to the Tiber system and formed a secondary defense line in anticipation of another invasion. However, the Vandul remained in Orion to harvest its resources and showed no intention of pursuing the retreating UEE ships. After several tense months, UEE leadership concluded that another unified incursion of allied Vandal clans at the scale of the Battle of Orion was unlikely to occur. The Imperator authorized the buildup of military forces at an accelerated pace to fortify the system. Regular intelligence gathering missions were launched into Orion to spy on the Vandal. The system didn't have a single incident until the 4th of February 2726, when a solitary Vandal blade exited the Orion jump point. By the 16th of November 2726, Vandal clans were regularly launching raids on Tiber. It seemed that another invasion might be on the horizon. The Siege. On the 19th of April 2732, a large clan took and held the Tiber-Orion jump point. The UEE responded by dispatching the 81st, 22nd, 6th, and 31st battle groups, commanded by Grand Admiral Teska Halamade, to eradicate the invaders. Key ships in the battle groups were sent to guard the Virgil and Oberon jump points and defend other areas identified as potentially threatened. In a surprise move, Halamade issued orders that no ship was to directly engage the Vandal around the Orion jump point, hoping that a defensive position would stall the invasion and give him enough time to find a diplomatic solution to the conflict. By mid-2733, multiple clans drawn into Tiber by the continued fighting were battling one another over space stations and outposts as often as they clashed with UEE forces. Most of the UEE's capital ships remained in dock during this time as Halamade searched for a way to communicate with the Vandal. By early 2734, three of the clans that had emerged victorious from repeated battles against the other clans launched separate concentrated assaults on Tiber II. They tore through the UEE's line of defense, dropped harvesters, and established encampments across the planet. With the loss of Tiber II, Halamade was forced to abandon his strategy and go on the offensive. The main flagship of the 31st long docked at INS Anine, the UES Aquilian led the fleet to the outskirts of Tiber II in order to lure the Vandal camp there into attacking. The strategy paid off. Most Vanduul on the planet eagerly joined the fray, leaving their on-ground encampments only lightly guarded. As the battle continued, strike teams from the 81st and 22nd battle groups entered Tiber II's atmosphere with little resistance and conducted aerial bombardments of the Vanduul strongholds there, destroying the majority in a few hours. The decimated clans fled the system. Finally committed to total war, Halamade used his bait-and-switch tactic again and again to reclaim lost territory. For over a year, Vanduul numbers slowly dwindled. However, due to more clans entering Tiber as often as defeated clans fled it, progress was not going as fast as the UEE authorities would have liked. On the 4th of November 2735, a large clan appeared in what seemed to be an insignificant part of the system. The UEES Aquilian and a selection of support vessels, personally led by Halamade, went to investigate the situation. As they approached, hundreds of Vanduul poured through a previously unknown jump point from the Vanduul system designated Vector, ambushing Halamade. The Aquilian was destroyed, all aboard were lost. Admiral Mira Trillo assumed authority over the 4 battle groups in Tiber after Halamade's death, and her aggressive strategy of confronting the Vanduul head-on resulted in a sharp increase in casualties. Under her command, the UEE made multiple attempts over the next year to expel the Vanduul, but no attack was successful. Clans continued to enter Tiber from the Orion and Vector systems, and the harvesters at work on Tiber II kept supply levels high. UEE ground troops and bombers would succeed in destroying 1 harvester only for 2 more to be dropped in its place. Morale was low. It seemed that as long as the Vanduul held Tiber II, it would be impossible to retake the system. On the 7th of September 2736, Imperator Galor Messer IX ordered the military to bomb the planet into oblivion. The bombing, conducted by the 6th Battle Group on the 15th of November, annihilated all Vanduul encampments on Tiber II, and the planet itself was rendered to ruin. Emboldened by this success, the UEE forces routed Vanduul encampments from the asteroid belt, chasing them through the Vector jump point. By the 29th of November, the UEE held Tiber II, the belt, and the Vector jump point. The only Vanduul left in the system set up a defensive perimeter around the jump point to Orion. Unless they retreated, their supplies would eventually run out. The 22nd and 31st returned to MacArthur for much-needed repairs, while the 81st and 6th remained behind to pick off the rest of the Vanduul. It seemed that the UEE was finally on the brink of victory. On the 29th of December 2736, a kingship, a powerful class of Vanduul capital ship that had not been encountered by humans since the Battle of Orion in 2712, entered Tiber through the Orion jump point. The combined power of the kingship and the enormous clan that accompanied it overwhelmed the 81st. 3/4 of its ships were wiped out in the 13-hour period, and INS Anine was destroyed. The remainder of the battle group fell back to the INS Flavis before receiving orders to retreat to Virgil. Admiral Trillo and the 6th stayed behind to hold the line against the kingship. Reports from survivors indicate that the 6th was able to deal modest damage to the kingship before losing Trillo, all its capital ships, and the majority of its carriers. As the last of the 6th battle group retreated into Oberon, having been cut off from Virgil, Tiber was fully surrendered to the Vanduul. Aftermath. The UEE had poured all its resources into holding Tiber. When the Vanduul launched an attack on the Virgil system immediately after Tiber's loss, the UEN was unable to mount a sufficient defense to stop them. The beaten remains of the 81st Battle Group fought off the Vanduul fleet while Squadron 214 aided the civilians evacuating from Virgil 1, conducting multiple runs back and forth from Virgil through the Vega jump point. Given the choice between performing a final run and remaining safe, the 214th chose to go into Virgil one last time. Thanks to their actions, over 1 million civilians escaped from Virgil 1. There was every expectation that Vega would be the Vanduul's next target. Instead, the Vanduul would not launch another mass attack on UEE territory until the fall of Caliban in 2884. Today, Tiber remains a Vandal stronghold. Harvesters continue to chew through the system's resources, strengthening any clan that passes through the area. Because Tiber is connected to both Oberon and Virgil, it provides the Vandal with easy raiding access to UEE territory. Oberon and Vega are frequently raiding targets. The UEE conducts periodic bombing runs to Tiber, targeting Vandal encampments and harvesters on Tiber 2, along with bases in the asteroid belt, but has been unable so far to reclaim the system. And that does it. Wow, some very interesting lore. The Siege of Tiber seemed like it was a very brutal battle. You know, in our last lore video, we covered the Fall of Caliban, and that one too had a very intense fight between humanity and the Vandal. But Siege of Tiber definitely took it up a notch. And the fact that, you know, they immediately went from Tiber to Virgil, was it? Yes. Is, you know, was they were pissed. You know, I don't know if they thought that, you know, because humanity defended itself to such an extent and was actually pushing them back, you know, that this big kingship clan that came through was like, we need to push them back and make them feel. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. You know, I've been really enjoying doing these kind of, you know, lore videos, going over some of the history that's in Star Citizen. I'm trying to focus on more of these long length posts that CIG have released. There's not that many, unfortunately. I wish they would do more of them. But yeah, let me know. As I said with the last lore video, does this make you excited for Squadron 42? You know, with the potential huge battles and you know, political drama and conflict that we'll be having within that, if it ever comes out, and it will one day. But you know, I'm excited. I look forward to being able to get my hands on it and experience, you know, the narrative team's creative minds. That, you know, even these articles are so in-depthful and so much fun to read. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And again, if you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Once we hit 100 members, we're going to be doing our channel's second giveaway contest. We are currently working on the videos for that, and we'll have that out in a few days. But with that being said, we're going to end the video here. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.